So this year, 24 international students graduated from our university, that is a medical doctor, and about half of them didn't know what to do next with their lives. And this is not uncommon because many students have no plans on what they're going to do after graduation. Because med school can be so burdening that you are literally always thinking about how to graduate successfully, and you don't think about what is going to come next after graduation. So in this video, we're going to be talking about 4 options medical students have after graduating to become doctors. Alright, so the number 1 option a lot of people do is to take a 1-year academic leave after graduation. This is done because a lot of students are stressed out after going through 6 years of academic, suicide. That is what I like to call it. So they take a 1-year leave or a 1-year holiday before going into practice. The disadvantage of this is when you leave medicine for 2 minutes, it leaves you for 10 minutes. That is 5 times. If you actually don't read medical text for about 1 year, believe me, by the time you want to get into medicine again, it's going to be difficult for you, because I wrote my pharmacology exams about 3 months ago, and right now I've forgotten half of what I actually read for the exams. It's evident when people go out of medicine or stop practicing for a while, it's difficult for them to come into practice and actually take their licensing examinations, because for you to practice in any country apart from the country of your graduation, then you need to take your medical license examination. The advantage of this is you get to sit down for a year and think clearly on what you want to do with your life next. The number 2 option medical students have is actually going to academia. A lot of people have the passion for saving lives, but they also have the passion for instilling knowledge. That is the reason why when medical students graduate, most of them decide to teach instead of practice. To be able to do this, you need to get your master's, your PhD, so that you can be on your way to professorship. Some doctors decide to actually practice and teach at the same time. Most of the professors or doctors teachers we have in our university are actually doctors, and most of them practice while teaching you right in the hospital. So you can actually be a doctor and still teach if teaching has been your passion. It pays good money. Imagine actually earning as a professor and as a doctor. Alright, so the number 3 options that doctors have after graduation is actually work for the UN or work for the WHO, which is the World Health Organization. After graduation, doctors have the option of volunteering with these organizations and get sent to developing countries where they administer medical aid. The pay is not as good as, compared to other countries like America and Germany, but when you compare it to other countries like Nigeria and other developing countries in Africa, it's better. So if you actually want to be a philanthropist or you want to do good, and you can actually volunteer for the UN and WHO and actually be living your dream of rendering services to the underprivileged. So this can look very good on your CV, especially if you want to go into public health service, especially some of us that actually want to be appointed as commissioners and ministers of health in our country. We can actually use this on our CV. I'm joking about that though. Alright, so the 4th option you have is actually to take the licensing examination of a particular country and start practicing there. The most popular destination for doctors today is America and Canada. If you go to America, you'll be earning a median salary of about $200,000 as a junior doctor. And now that they call them residents. So if you do your residency in the US and start practicing, you're going to be very financially independent and get a lot of medical knowledge, because US is one of the leading health countries in the world. Alright, so the last option you have is actually to do some research for companies, pharmaceutical companies and all of that. During the COVID-19, a lot of doctors volunteered to work in research because they needed to find a vaccine or a potent cure for the COVID-19 virus, which, turned our world upside down. So you can work for research companies, you can work for private research companies like Pfizer and, a lot of other AstraTech, and, you can also work for the CIA in their secret experiments. You can also work for countries, work for health, like university research centers. And, research is very important, because without research, medicine will stagnate. Without researchers, medicine will not go anywhere. Technology itself will not go anywhere. So it's very important for us to have researchers. If you're doing research, you can be receiving grants from either the government or the organization you're working with to fund your private research. For example, I always thought I can be able to raise up the dead. So if I'm able to pitch this idea to the government or to some fund, they can be able to, fund my campaign, and I'm able to actually make this come to light and win a Nobel Prize. Alright, so that is it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. But if you want to get into med school, then please watch this video on how to get into med school in Russia. Bye bye.